Good evening. My name is Chidi Ebube Okebawama. Today I will be going over the killer robot incident and I will be explaining who I believe were the people who should take the blame, as well as what precautions I would take if put in a position of authority in order to keep such incidents from happening in the future. I'd like to start off by talking about Ray Johnson, who was the robotics division chief. Ray Johnson, on top of pressuring his subordinates, also added in 20 unskilled workers from other positions into the software development team. Uh, this caused mass confusion and it also pushed them to cut corners. And this is seen in how a man by the name of Sam Reynolds, who was the project manager for the software development team, pushed his workers in a way that's a little slightly different. Instead of like Ray Johnson, who threatened his subordinates with termination, Sam Reynolds instead decided not to teach all of the new workers every aspect that they would need to know. Instead, he pushed them to just try and get the work done. This was in part, again, due to Ray Johnson pressuring him as well as those under him. That is why I believe these two men, Ray Johnson and Sam Reynolds, deserve some kind of blame in what they did. There's also Michael Watterson. He is one who I believe deserves the most blame for the death of Bart Matthews. The reason why I say this is because Michael Watterson, the president of the company, Silicon Tektronix Incorporated, he put Randy Samuels in a position in which he was unskilled or untrained to be in. Due to the death of one of his former employees, Michael Watterson placed Randy Samuels in a position, or not Randy Samuels, sorry, Sam Reynolds in a position that he was not eligible for, which is probably the worst thing you can do in a company where, or in a field, not just a company, but a field where being qualified counts the most. And because Sam Reynolds was in a position where he was not qualified and he was leading others, he was kind of unsure in how to guide them and most likely guided them in the wrong paths. And that is who I would like to go into next. Randy Samuels, who was one of the programmers who worked under Sam Reynolds. Randy Samuels was classified as a task-oriented personality, meaning that he wanted to get the work done and loved to do it, but also as a self-oriented personality, borderline self-oriented personality. This meant that on top of wanting to get the work done, when he did get it done, he put a lot of his ego and pride, went into his work. And so if at all his work was commented on or it was critiqued, he took that offense. He took that personally, and he took it offensively. Uh, so he often did not he did not go with the way others might have tried to guide him. That is the reason why I feel like Randy Samuels deserves blame for what ultimately is the death of Bart Matthews. Now, for what I would have done in order to stop such things from happening in the future, such incidents from happening in the future, first and foremost, I would pass litigation that stops corporations and people from making contributions to public officials. This may seem out of the blue, but my reasoning for it is the corporation, Silicon Tektronix, they were giving money to public officials. I believe it was the city public attorney or the city attorney in order to get them reelected. And this ultimately gave them kind of uh, a way to leverage the way things were seen in the judicial system. So I would put that one as number one in order to stop corporations from being able to control legal systems and dissuade them from trying to create a scapegoat and instead follow appropriate precautions. Because in this case, they did use uh, Randy Samuels as a scapegoat instead of trying to go about producing their product, the CX30, in an appropriate way. My second way to check what might happen in the future would be to have a neutral organization, which is the organization that I would be heading, come through every corporation, every Silicon Valley technology corporation, and do checks on the legitimacy of their work, making sure that all these corporations are doing their work thoroughly and appropriately once a month. I would do this in order to ensure that corporations follow set ethical practices in regards to their way of business. My third way, in order to stop incidents like this from happening in the future, would be if my organization notices a struggling corporation, it should be able to fund them or give them financial packages, a way to aid them, so that if these organizations need the help, they can get it some way instead of pressuring their workers to work harder or cut corners, which ultimately led to this situation. The fourth way I would prevent incidents such as this would be to require that positions that are for managers or people who will be working above others to have um, completed an examination that can prove their qualifications for said field. This would definitely have helped in this situation, but in further situations, it would help by stopping those who are not ready or eligible for getting into positions of authority over others who may seek help from them or be delegated by them to run projects poorly slash dangerously. My next one would be all company projects must be vetted by our organization and must adhere to the minimum timeline prescribed by our organization. In this case, the CX30 was a project that this corporation decided we want to get done in a short amount of time. The deadline was very, very tight. And in order to stop incidents like that from happening, my organization or the group I would be heading would scan or vet these kinds of projects that would be going on with companies. Of course, unbiasedly, not trying to take information and give it out to everybody, but unbiasedly and secretly vetting these organizations' projects and making sure that their projects can be done in this amount of time. If not, we would prescribe an amount of time, the required amount of time, and require these companies to do it in said amount of time or more. That would allow these companies to uh, ease the the pressure they may place on their employees. Finally, I would say having monthly interviews, of course, anonymous interviews for individuals within companies so that they can call out malpractice and also have a dedicated hotline slash website that is used for the same purpose. That, of course, would stop all or stop a majority of the malpractice within a corporation due to people outing, people coming up with testimonials about what's going on behind the scenes and what's causing issues within a project. This is again my take on the killer robot uh, incident and how I would try and stop it from happening in the future. Thank you, and have a great day.